That's right, baby. Gin pop justice. Gin pop justice. 6 broken ribs. 6 months. 6 months. We just beating up in this video, and I'm here for it.
I attacked him viciously.
So these are kind of older stories, but they're some of the most viral news stories that were on the internet in the past couple of years. I picked out some that I thought were pretty interesting that I hadn't seen before, and maybe you haven't seen them either. First one, teen who pushed friend off of bridge apologizes. Apologizes? I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna need a little bit more than an apology. I'm gonna need you to open up your wallet. I'm gonna need you to be on your hands. Also, did I survive?
That teenager who shoved her friend off a 60-foot-high bridge.
Oh my God. Oh my, okay, wait, hold on. They were good. Okay, I know this doesn't make it like better, but they were going to jump, right? I'm not trying to like say like that like negates it or anything, but like I'm trying to put into my brain, this wasn't just like I'm gonna kill you. Like, oh my God, can you imagine how shocking that would be?
Will spend as much time in jail as her friend spent in the hospital.
Hey.
Attorneys thought they'd worked out a plea deal to keep the young woman out of jail, but
Hey,
the
girl.
judge had another idea.
Punishment for the teen who pushed her friend off a bridge. 19-year-old Taylor Smith was in tears as she was escorted away in handcuffs after being sentenced to 2 days in jail. The ruling surprised both sides. Taylor had pled guilty to reckless endangerment, and prosecutors recommended no jail time.
You know what? 2 days or 30 days doesn't feel too much different to me, but if I were her, the 2 days in the national news story embarrassing her about what she did, I'll take it. You know what I hate the most about this story? It takes some people a lot to stand up for themselves. And I bet you that girl pushed her because she probably knows her and thinks, oh, she's not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen. And it takes a lot for us to stand up and be like, no, you deserve jail time for that. It can be a really embarrassing process standing up for yourself. And if that was the girl that got pushed, like huddled over in the courtroom, this whole process was difficult for her. It wasn't just the push, it was everything throughout. But at the end of the day, I'm really glad she reported her.
Jordan, I'm gonna push you. No.
This is the moment Taylor pushed Jordan Holgerson off the bridge in Washington State
She said
last
she was
August.
scared.
Ready?
Oh my God, I
Jordan plunged 60 feet into the
cannot.
water, landing chest first. She suffered 6 broken ribs and punctured lungs.
6
After sentencing,
broken
Taylor
ribs!
said
6 months! 6 months! I didn't even know she got hurt. I thought she just landed gracefully in the water and started swimming. I can't swim. I don't know what happens when y'all hit the water, okay? No way. No way, boss.
I'd like to sincerely apologize to Jordan Holgerson, her family,
Shut
and
up!
friends for the pain and humiliation I have caused by my mindless action that occurred last summer.
Then off she went to jail for 2 days. Jordan says she's ready to
that
move
was her.
on.
I think it's probably just as emotional for her as me. I'm happy it's over.
A little bit of jail time, a pretty embarrassing news report of how much of a piece of you are, and she had to do a little community service. I'll take it. Father who beat sons accused speaks out. I want him to say it with his whole body. What you got to say? Well, let's see. Oh my God! Wait, I've seen this guy's face before, but I don't think I ever heard the dad talk about it.
Suspected child after a run-in with the dad. Tonight, Kelly Joyce talks with that Florida father about what he says he saw and how he reacted.
This was the scene last Friday. 18-year-old Raymond Frolander standing before a judge charged with sexual battery. His face swollen and bruised.
Oh my God.
Daytona Beach police say Frolander was beaten by the father of the victim.
I attacked him viciously, and I did. The only time I paused was to go to the kitchen and retrieve a butcher knife because I was going to kill him.
Oh
This
my God.
35-year-old father, Jason, says he walked in on Frolander, a family friend, attacking his son. Jason told police he went out for a bite to eat, and when he came back, he heard something in the bedroom.
My son Raymond in the room.
He called 911.
I just walked in and found a grown man, and I got him in a bloody puddle for you right now, officer.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Look, you know, if something happened to my husband did the same thing, I ain't mad at you.
When Daytona Beach police showed up, they found Frolander unconscious. He was taken to the hospital, then to jail. Police say Jason won't face any charges for the beating because he was protecting his child as a crime was being committed. Police also say Frolander admitted to the sexual battery. Normally, we would not show the face of a father whose son had been sexually attacked. But this father wanted to show his face and let you know he thinks his son is a hero.
All right, now say it with your chest.
My son stepped in front of me and saved his life. He just looked at me and said, sir. And he shook his head and said, no. And I just put the knife down.
Wait, his son calls him sir?
My name is Mr. Sir.
And my son stepped in front of me and saved his life. He just looked at me and said, sir. And he shook his head and said, no. And I just put the knife down. I don't know. Wouldn't traumatize him any more than he already was.
Jason says his family is trying to heal, but he felt he needed to talk publicly about this case to let all victims of sex.
Y'all think that the news channel right now is zooming in on the tattoos, the posture, or that drug nail right there? I don't know which one it is, but it's something.
Crimes know they do not need to be afraid to come forward.
Everybody wants to do the, you know, not my family, or they gotta wait till it hits close to home and all that. 9 out of 10 of these are an uncle, a brother, something.
Jason tells us his son is in counseling. He says he's a very tough kid who will get through this. He says this has not only affected his family emotionally, but financially as well.
Well, y'all know how I feel about that one. It is what it is. Next, teen protects girl from stranger at Boston Target.
A teenager shopping with his mom is credited tonight for protecting a child from a stranger inside that store.
Did you take your Care of vitamins today? 50% off your first order. Use code BOZE50.
WBZ's Ken McLeod is live in Dorchester with the story tonight. Ken?
David, that South End teenager and his mom were doing some shopping here when something odd caught
I don't know why he has that card.
A man with what he describes as a demonic look on his face. Well, the teen trusted his instincts, and they were right.
This one?
As Cameron Cook helped his little sister with some homework tonight, it was hard not to think about the little girl he protected from a over the weekend.
Grabbing himself, and my mom goes, Cam, let's go, keep walking. I was like, no, something's going on.
The 17-year-old was at the South Bay Target with his mom on Saturday when he noticed that man fixated on a young girl pushing a shopping cart.
I was close enough where I could smell the liquor coming from his mouth. It was horrible.
Oh my
God. It got worse when the man thrust himself up against the somewhat startled youngster, prompting Cameron to step in.
So I went up to him, I was like, excuse me, sir, do you know her?
We just beat up in this video, and I'm here for it, okay? I'm here for it.
And the first thing he said was, I'm not a I'm not a
Yes,
you
are.
I didn't ask you that, sir.
And he was big, and Cameron had no fear at all. He just stood firm on the fact that he knew that what this man was doing was wrong.
Indeed, Cameron suggested the suspect leave the store, and he did, denying and cursing most of the way. The store manager would later call to say that store surveillance video had been turned over to police.
I'm very proud of him, but it's totally within his character. He is not afraid to do what's right.
There was also heartfelt thanks from the young victim's mom, who was apparently in the bathroom at the time.
I'm just happy that I was there to be able to protect her, because you know, like, you never know what could have went on.
Police advise parents never to leave their small children alone in a store. Take them to the bathroom with you.
What the? You ever just seen a kid roaming around the store before, a Walmart, and you're like, whose kid is that? And you're like, oh, I think his mom is in the bathroom. Take your kids with you. I feel like I've never heard of that before. Hey, maybe I'm tripping. I know there's going to be somebody in the YouTube comments. They're like,
Bose, every time I go to take a at Food Lion, I leave my daughter in aisle 6, chained to the baby food.
Breathy B said, my mom always took me to the bathroom with her because, quote, you never know. Dude, if my mom was telling me that as a kid, I would be terrified. Judge gets emotional during the sentencing of an Ohio man who sexually abused 2 girls.
Mr. Convicted of or pleaded guilty to a sexually oriented child victim offense. As such, you will be a Tier 3 registrant for your lifetime with in-person verification every 90 days. Failure to register, failure to verify residence at the specified times, or failure to provide notice of a change in resident address or other
friendly, reminder. If you're moving to a new home, whether you're renting, whether you're buying, whatever, if you're going somewhere new, if you live in the United States, you can look up the sex offender registry to see who's nearby you. It is a very, very good tool that the government is supposed to keep track of. They have to verify their addresses. This is what she's talking about here. And I feel like it's a little underutilized because we don't think of it all the time. Maybe you found a home and it's the perfect one, but you need to know what's around you. Use that tool.
This court is so sick and tired of seeing adults ruin and abuse children.
They hit the slow zone.
These are literally just one step from being babies. They come to a daycare, those parents struggle so that when they release their children to someone during the day, they have some semblance that that child is going to be protected and safe.
When you drop your kid off at daycare, you don't want to worry. You want to believe that your child is in good hands and they are safe. It is the one thing that gets you through the workday, knowing that your kids are okay, and you don't even have to think about it. Like, this is a nightmare for parents.
Not let
it's
alone
a nightmare for
two
brothers,
of their
sisters,
children
everybody.
being raped by your own admission, sir. For sexual gratification,
ooh,
you violated a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. I do not know at this time what the total ramifications will be for those 2 young children, but there isn't anybody who doesn't understand now the developmental phases of children take place from 0 to 6 years old. You can't even know what damages you've done.
When stuff like this goes to court, it takes so much work for people to talk to these kids and undo the damage that was done by somebody like this, a trusted caretaker, betraying them and violating them in the worst way possible. And it's so rare that these cases are actually brought to light and actually brought to justice. And it blows my mind thinking about how many kids for the longest time lock away these memories. They blame themselves. They try to just bury it and move past it, and they don't get that help.
For sexual gratification.
Get him! Sorry.
This to me is so mind-boggling that you used and abused 2 little children like they're inconsequential beings. Those are human persons with human dignity. The mere fact that they're small little people that can't fight off adults, that's why an adult left them with adults.
Give him 55 years, sister.
I'm going to tell you something, Mr. McFadden. There's no free rapes in my courtroom.
Okay. You can just hear the nervousness and the anger in her voice. Like, she doesn't even know what to say. And she probably deals with cases like this all the time.
On count 1, I'm sending you to prison for 11 years. Oh. On count 4, I'm sending you to prison for 11 years. They will be consecutive to each other for a total of 22 years.
That's probably the most you could give them.
You have 32 days jail credit.
Let's not forget, 22 years, folks. But where is he going? I'll give you a hint. It's one of our favorite places on earth for offenders that abuse children. That's right, baby. Gin pop justice. Gin pop justice. What's for dinner? Your teeth. Dude, I love it. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all.
The court finds it necessary to protect the public from future crimes, to punish the offender, and to find that consecutive sentences are not disproportionate to the seriousness of the offender's conduct and to the danger the offender poses to the public. Folks, if you see it, you smell it, you know it's happening, you report it.
Amen.
These are little children that are the future. I hate to sound so cliche, but the children are our future, and if we're destroying them, we have no future. And this ends in this courtroom.
I don't see what his name is, but he got 22 years for sexually abusing 2 children at a daycare run by his wife. He betrayed the parents, he betrayed those children, and he betrayed his wife. Bro, man didn't care about anything but himself. Woman calls police on black man babysitting white kids.
Babysitting, right? Y'all see, look, I got 2 kids in the backseat with me. I'm babysitting. There's this lady across the street. We just came from Subway and Walmart.
Oh no.
This lady over here, she's following me.
Dude, I'm sorry. for a second. I thought he was going to say that the lady following him was this car right here. Like she was just doing circles, just Karen circles around his car like an eagle. But it's the car behind him.
Lady over here, she's following me.
A Cobb County man says someone called the police on him for babysitting while black. Corey Lewis says he was babysitting 2 children when a white woman approached him in a parking lot.
And he says she wanted to see whether the children were okay and even followed him to his house. Fox 5's Denise Dillon is live in Cobb County tonight. Denise, you talked to Lewis and to the father of those children.
Yeah, I did, and they're all just shocked over this whole thing. They still can't believe it. They've known each other for a couple of years. They're good friends, and they say it's just astounding that someone would see Corey Lewis with the 2 children alone and think it's strange enough that they would call police to report a suspicious person.
Also, it's not like she just called police and gave them the license plate or anything. She walked up to the car and said, Hi, Mr. Trafficker. Let me talk to the kids, okay? Like, what did she think? She thinks she was going to actually take on a trafficker? Like, he ain't have a gun, a taser, some pepper spray, something like that. Also, I'm like listing out self-defense weapons. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a trafficker. I don't know what they would have on them. My point being, what did she think she was going to do?
From her perception, she'd seen something that wasn't right. She's being judgmental. Me looking the way I am, being with 2 kids who don't look like me.
He looks like the most
Lewis says the
upstanding
woman
black guy.
followed him to a gas station, then all the way to his house about 5 minutes away. The next thing he knew, police showed up, wanting to talk to the kids.
Oh my God!
I talked to Cobb County Police, who told me they were responding to a call of a suspicious person. The officer talked to the children, determined everything was okay.
Why does this child seem like a giant? Does this child not seem significantly larger than him, but also looks like a toddler? They look terrified? Of course, they've been kidnapped by a black babysitter. I'm just kidding.
Talked to the children, determined everything was okay, and they were gone. But the whole experience left Lewis and the children upset. Lewis has spent plenty of time with these kids. Nicholas is part of Lewis's after-school youth mentoring program, inspired by Lewis. Now, their dad had to explain to his children what happened and why.
I asked him, did you understand what happened tonight? And he said, well, a weird lady was following us around because Mr. Lewis has brown skin and we have peachy skin.
Made me feel like it was definitely wrong and that people shouldn't be racist and it doesn't matter what skin color we are.
That's right. That's right.
Lewis says after that Facebook post, he has gotten plenty of support, and it has helped shed some light on the fact that there are still some people out there who are very judgmental.
I'm pretty curious about this one. This could end up being a true crime case that we look at. It was called Pamela Phillips, sentenced to life in prison without parole. So I present to you Pamela Phillips. Let's see what she has to say.
Found Pamela Phillips guilty of hiring a hitman to kill her husband. Today, she received her sentence. 9 on Your Side was in the courtroom for the decision.
I just want everybody to know that I am innocent. I am innocent. I am innocent, okay? And I'm really, this is hard. It's so hard for me. It's a nightmare.
The switch from, I just want everyone to know
that I am innocent. I am innocent.
And this is such a nightmare for me. I'm just a little kitten.
Coverage with Corey Marshall live downtown at the courthouse. Justin Shecker in the newsroom with reaction to the sentence. But let's begin with Corey. Corey.
Gary was my husband.
Stella, a judge handing down that maximum sentence today, natural life in prison without the possibility of release, essentially overriding that lesser sentence tied to the conviction of first-degree conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, rather. Now, we knew from the very beginning that the death penalty was not an option in this case because of an extradition treaty between the U.S. and Austria.
That I am innocent. I am innocent. I am innocent, okay? And I'm really, this is hard. It's so hard for me. It's a nightmare. This is a nightmare. Okay, what's happened's a nightmare. And Gary was my husband. Okay.
Gary was my husband. Gary was my possession. So anything that happens to Gary, it doesn't matter. Gary's mine. Like, that language is so telling.
Gary was my husband, and he was the father of my children. And I am innocent, and I want everybody to know that. This has been a travesty, and it's a nightmare for me. Okay? And
You tried to kill him. Or you did.
How this can even happen, right?
I just don't understand how this could even happen. How I could get caught because I'm so smart. I am so smart and so good at manipulating everyone around me. I just can't believe this. How did you guys catch me? How did the justice system?
The plea moments before hearing she'll spend the rest of her life in prison. The sentencing comes 1 month after jurors convicted Phillips of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, guilty of hiring a hitman to kill her ex-husband, Gary Triano, back in 1996. A separate jury convicted hitman Ronald Young in 2010. Triano's children calling out their former stepmother in court.
His life was taken as the result of greed, hate, and malice.
Phillips' attorneys arguing her
So she got conspiracy to commit murder and murder. That's okay.
Innocence until the end.
She doesn't have remorse because she didn't do this. And it's not just a tragedy for my client. It's not just a tragedy for Ronald Young. It's not just a tragedy for the people that care about them. It's a tragedy for the victims in this case because the real perpetrators aren't going to be brought to justice.
Now coming back out here live, we're going to toss things over to Justin Shecker live in the newsroom. And Justin, you spoke with members of the Triano family earlier today.
That's right, Corey. It was a very emotional day in the courthouse, as you saw as well. Now, Gary Triano's son, Brian, delivered a message on behalf of his family. It was one of gratitude and relief. As for Pamela Phillips' attorney, he says, based on the evidence, this is an unjust outcome he'll take with him to the grave. Gary Triano's loved ones leave the court.
I'm kind of interested in seeing more about this case because anytime somebody's like a hardcore manipulator in true crime, I always think it's so interesting. I think you guys think it's interesting too, so it's not just me.
Triano's eldest son, Brian.
My family and I would just like to say that we're glad this is finally over, and we'd like to thank all our friends and everyone who supported us through this entire time. And we're sorry that it had to come to this because this woman was actually part of our family.
What did Pamela say to you?
You know, the other thing too, I talk about this all the time. Whenever we get a conviction, you know, we get the conviction, we get the sentencing, it's such a relief until that piece of shit files an appeal. They always do.
She basically said, I think, if I remember right, how can this be happening?
Pamela Phillips' attorney maintains his client is not responsible for her ex-husband's death.
The fact that she's going to prison is going to eat away at me the rest of my life and my career.
Does he really believe her?
You know, I'll just have to deal with that myself. But I can't imagine what Pam's going through.
As for Phillips' plea of innocence to the family inside the courtroom,
I'm not surprised that she said something. I'm just surprised that she decided to speak to us.
We just thought it was a bit of a bizarre statement for her to do, but that was all.
Agreed.
That's what she's been saying all along, but clearly she's not, and two different juries have said so.
Phillips' attorney says this is the first time he's defended someone he believes is innocent and lost. Triano's son also thanked the Pima County Sheriff's Department for its hard work investigating his father's murder. Live in the newsroom, I'm Justin Shecker, K-Gun 9 on your side.
Wait, what was that sign out? K-Gun 9. Hold on.
His father's murder. Live in the newsroom, I'm Justin Shecker, K-Gun 9 on your side.
K-Gun 9. That's how I'm signing off all my videos from now on. I'm BOZE. BOZE Gun 9. Like, I don't know.